Hi everyone, I am Brother Roger Loremia, a student from St. Michael Theological Seminary. At the moment, I am pursuing licentiate degree in philosophy, and on this very semester, I am currently taking the course on Theory of Knowledge or Epistemology. On this blog, I would like to share some of my experiences on this course. Well, first of all, many people think that they have a lot of knowledge. They also believe that other people sometimes know what they claim to know. But when I started this course, I asked myself, what is knowledge? And how can I have it? Is it important that I have knowledge? If so, why? The branch of philosophy that attempts to answer these related questions is known as epistemology or theory of knowledge. Let me begin by asking, what is knowledge? The true justified belief, or JTB, theory of knowledge, which holds that knowledge is properly supported belief, is one of the most traditional or often used definition of knowledge. According to the majority of philosophers, knowledge only exists when a belief is true. What if John is guilty despite of a strong proof that he is being falsely accused of a crime? John is not guilty. However, if John did the crime, is the jury aware of it? No. Since truth is a requirement for knowing, the jury was misled but still held that belief. Most philosophers also believe that a belief must be supported by evidence. A fortuitous guess is not typically regarded as knowledge. We don't believe you knew that it was heads if you flipped a coin but don't immediately check the outcome and just find yourself thinking it's heads when it is, in fact. However, there is a lot of disagreements regarding what justification is. Let's see how the analyst of justification. What would be necessary to turn the fortunate assumption that the coin came up heads into knowledge? One typical response is justification. It would seem that you would need solid evidence to think that the coin came up on heads, such just looking at the coin. Generally speaking, theories of justification either claim that the elements necessary to support your belief are present in your own first person, conscious experience, or that they are not. We refer to the first theory as internalist and later on as externalist. Some internalists, for instance, are evidentialists, which generally means that your justification depends on the evidence you have, such knowing that a president's head is depicted on a coin. Additionally, some externalists are reliabilists who generally holds that your level of justification depends on whether your beliefs were produced by a trustworthy mechanism, such as the physical process of vision. The evidence you possess appears internal to your first-person awareness to evidentialist, since it is what you are aware of. Furthermore, whether the methods used to develop your belief is trustworthy appears external to your first-person awareness. Now, in this course also, we discuss the sources of knowledge and evidence. We discuss what it is to have a set of beliefs that are justified. But what is the source of explanation of the justification for our own views when it is in reality present? By employing our five senses, scientific methods, and introspections, looking within one's own mind to discover, for instance, that one believes that 2 plus 2 equals 4, then we can undoubtedly obtain some justification from empirical observation. This reasoning is a posteriori or empirical, for instance, by taking into account the outcome of the toss coin. There may be some information that we pick up through definitions, intuitions, or other purportedly non-empirical evidence. This knowledge or justification referred to us as a priori knowledge, since it is supported without the use of any specific empirical observation or understanding of the justification or proof that is needed. This, I personally believe that this does not need to consult any experts. It seems to know without even having to think about it that coins cannot be both square and circular. Generally speaking, rationalists concerning justification, quote unquote, think that we have significant, relevant information about the world, knowledge that goes beyond the simple definition of our terms or concepts. Empiricists, on the other hand, hold that all of our significant understanding of the world is empirical. Furthermore, feminist epistemologists have suggested that a person's knowledge and whether they are considered to be knowers can rely on their specific social position, including their gender. One's perspective, situation, and emotion could be added to the conventional list of knowledge sources. In epistemology, we have what we call structure of knowledge, justification, and inference. Typically, we assume that we may infer new beliefs from our current beliefs. We hold certain proposition to be true and then draw the conclusion that certain other assertions must be true. We are prone to reference other opinions you hold if someone asks you to defend a belief, because I think maps are generally reliable and maps claim that Antarctica exists. I am aware of its existence. But how long can this chain of inference continue? Foundationalism is one favored viewpoint. According to foundationalists, the regress comes to an end at beliefs that are justified. And since the regress has ended, those beliefs are no longer supported by any inference from any other beliefs. Other well-known perspectives is coherentism, which holds that one's beliefs are supported by belonging to a web or network or coherence beliefs. Our beliefs is that a series of inferences can lead to beliefs that are well grounded. But it's also possible to pick up erroneous or unfounded notions which wouldn't really count as knowledge. Also, in our class, we look at skepticism. Skeptics typically contest any claim that we are in possession of knowledge. There are those who doubt whether we have any of the following knowledge, like knowledge of external world. Example, the world beyond the contents of our conscious experiences. Moral knowledge. Religious knowledge. Knowledge from memory or knowledge of the past. Knowledge from induction. Scientific knowledge. And knowledge of other minds. Additionally, some philosophers support global skepticism, which holds that we lack all knowledge and all rationally for our beliefs. Also in this course, we look at epistemology as broad field like the nature of perception, the nature of understanding, whether we should trust our peers when they disagree with us. In the relationship between epistemology, trust, and justice, how different reason for belief, not just epistemic reason, should affect us or determine whether we have knowledge. What value there is, if any, in having knowledge, especially in contrast to mere true belief? Whether knowledge means the same thing in all contexts. Whether knowledge requires certainty. Or whether philosophy should be continuous with or even replaced by science. John Locke often classified as an empiricist because he believed that knowledge was found in empirical observation and experience. He says men have in their minds several ideas, such as are those expressed by the words whiteness, hardness, sweetness, thinking, motion, man, elephant, army, drunkenness, and others. It is in the first place then to be inquired. Suppose the minds to be, as we say, white paper, void of all characters, without any ideas. How comes it to be furnished? Whence comes it by the vast store which the busy and boundless fancy of man has painted on it with an almost endless variety? Whence has it all the materials of reason and knowledge? To this I answer in one word, from experience. In all that our knowledge is founded, and from that is ultimately derives itself. Now, John Luke emphasizes two sources of all knowledge from which all of our concepts naturally arise. First, our senses conversant about particular sensible object do convey into the mind several distinct perception of things according to those various ways wherein those objects do affect them. And thus, we come by those ideas we have of yellow, white, heat, cold, soft, hard, bitter, sweet, and all those which we call sensible qualities, which when I say the senses convey into the mind, I mean they from external object convey into the mind what produces those perceptions. This great source of most of the ideas we have depending wholly upon our senses and derived by them to the understanding I call sensation. Secondly, the other fountain from which experience furnishes the understanding with ideas is the perception of the operations of our own minds within us, as it is employed about the ideas. And such are perception, thinking, doubting, believing, reasoning, knowing, willing, and all the different actings of our own minds, in which he called this reflection. The ideas it affords being such only as the mind gets by reflecting on its own operation within itself. These two, John Locke says, as the external material things, as the objects of sensation, and the operation of our minds within, as the objects of reflection, are to him the only originals, from hence all our ideas take their beginnings. In conclusion, some philosophers contend that as all branches of knowledge strive for comprehension, tenable views, and knowledge, epistemology is the original philosophy important to all other branches of philosophy and inquiry. If they are right, it is critical for all thinking individuals to have at least a fundamental comprehension of epistemology. Thank you, Ms. Kim, for imparting us this knowledge, this theory of knowledge. And this course really helped me personally to know about what is knowledge. Thank you and God bless.